Today we tour Brian Toss Yacht Riggers with co-owner Ian Weedman. Brian died of cancer in 2020, a loss this whole town mourned. We know his name well outside of Port Townsend because, thank the gods, he didn't listen to his mentor when it came to the idea of writing The Rigger's Apprentice, a book that demystified and democratized rigging knowledge for boat owners, and that inspired countless others, including Ian, to pursue a career in the trade.
Go Hallion.
Ian said of this sail, the shakedown sail was perfect. It was the first sail after a very extensive refit, which had the boat broken down into most of its individual components. Every system was addressed. He continued, "We tuned the rig by hand at the dock, which is what we do normally, and then took it out for a shakedown dynamic tune on the bay. The day started calm and the wind built until Latifah was railed down and powered up. The tune was perfect, and we did not have to address anything. You can imagine how gratifying this was."
Little victory lap.
Little victory lap.
Nine knots true wind, 8.5 knots boat speed.
Damn.
Excuse me.
As far as the rig goes, she has all new standing and running rigging, new bronze mastheads and shroud tangs on main and mizzen. Both masts were stripped of all hardware, wooded, and then some wood repairs were made. Then they were refinished and new hardware was installed. The bowsprit also is new.
You are doing projects that make you an experienced, capable, highly regarded rigger in your own right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the shop retains Brian's name.
The shop retains Brian's name, a bit of his ethos, and a bunch of crew that he trained. It's not just me. It's not just Ian's show.
Yeah.
Jen Bates, who got 20 plus years working with Brian, Matt Fahey, who got 20 plus years working with Brian, myself, who got 20 years working with Brian. This guy over here in the corner, Chance Bates, is Jen's son. You got, how many years did you spend with Brian? Like working? Yeah, a lot. Yeah. In that, we all kind of speak the same language as far as our approach to rigging, which is pretty cool to be on that same page. And, you know, when he passed, there were some rough moments keeping the business alive and transitioning, but we figured it out. And I think we're carrying, like I said, his ethos forward. No doubt doing things differently and making it our own, which is what he would have wanted. And yeah, the business is still his namesake. Will it stay like that forever? I don't know. We might change it. It hasn't been our focus at this point. You know, it's great to still work under his name. We have a lot of returning clients that he worked on years ago, and they come back for the same level of work that they were happy with when he rigged their boat.
Right.
And yeah.
We were talking about that ethos of sharing yesterday.
Yeah.
The freely given information in that book
Right.
has not been something that has gotten in the way of your ability to conduct business here. And do people still call for help and that sort of thing?
People still call for help often. And at the end of the day, we have to run a business, and there's a nut to crack each month. But we're still more than happy to help people as best we can, just with free advice or sometimes even some free labor sometimes. I have to be careful how I say that, but yeah, if somebody calls with a question and they want help figuring it out and they're not able to, I love helping people out like that. And like I said last night, when Brian first learned to splice wire rope from his mentor, and he told him, he was so excited. He's like, I got to share this with people. Let's write about this. And his mentor was like, we can't do that, Brian, because then everybody will know how to do it and we won't have any work. That's not what Brian felt was true. And he started writing the book, The Rigger's Apprentice, and put that information in it. And lo and behold, he got more work. You know, kind of let the world know that he was proficient. I don't like to use the word expert or master rigger, you know. As a good friend, John Kuhn, says, the only people who can call me a master rigger are my apprentices who are shoveling dirt upon my casket. It's only at that point might I deserve it. But anyway,
Like
he was
getting
proficient.
a Lifetime Achievement Award when you're only 40-something. It's
Yeah,
like,
right,
no.
Not ready yet. I'm still here. Maybe you have my best work in front of me, I hope. Yeah.
You have it kind of set up as an open house. I can tell that you have tidied probably quite a bit.
We've tidied a little bit, and we tried, and we kind of agonize over it a little bit. We like to get the dust bunnies out of the corner, but at the end of the day, this is what we do, so we're not going to make it spotless.
Absolutely.
It's a workshop, and
No,
people that come
I
in,
think it looks great, and I think it looks like you're ready to start a project. Not that you shoved everything away.
Yeah.
You know, so of course people are coming in to see the tools and to see these things.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a calendar of people's workbenches because of all the little treasure that's everywhere. Do you put up, you know, that you've reached a certain level of karate karate proficiency.
Aikido, yes, right, yeah. All the things, like,
Yeah.
you know, we can tell stories of some of that stuff, some of it I don't know, but everything has a place.
If someone
Every
were
tool
to
has a
come in
place.
here and they've probably missed it or something, can you show me a couple of treasures that maybe people walk past, or something in the shop that you find particularly useful too? It doesn't have to be like an artifact. It could be that there's a special piece of equipment in here that you really admire.
There's many. I can show you probably a bunch. And then you can choose what to show.
You got it.
A quick story. Somebody came in on Friday and they were looking around, kind of like what you're talking about. I love workshops and I just want to poke around. They said, you got a lot of old tools in here. And they said, what's the oldest one? And it wasn't until that night when I was falling asleep, I should have said, me. I'm the oldest one. So here's a lovely little thing that is unfinished, a lovely sea chest that Brian had built, but it hasn't been finished. But actually, what was supposed to be in there is not in there. I might have to retake this. But a good sea chest has to have a good becket as a handle, and these lovely artifacts that he probably started 40 years ago, I'm guessing 40 years ago, and have not yet finished. So it's up to somebody to finish the chest beckets. The cleats are here, unfinished, but at some point, that'll be that's a lovely artifact.
That is a lovely artifact.
Yeah. I don't know, we do this work, but I don't know that I have the patience to finish it.
Right.
But if anybody out there does.
Isn't that something?
And there's a snake.
Well, yeah. Obviously.
What else we got? We got some project artifacts, running back blocks for Latifah, the fife y'all that's in town right now. I'd like to say we did this leather, but we did not. This is some of the best leather work I've ever seen. A woman in town named Maya put this together. We'll be splicing the running back pendants here pretty soon. What else do we have in here? Hey! Got some old lovely dead eyes. Aren't those amazing?
Yeah.
I don't know what these came from, but somebody sent them, a box of them to us last year. Yeah, Lugly real lignum deadeyes. What other artifacts do we have, Dylan? We can't break that out.
A real live unicorn horn. We don't want to let people know that they could. We don't want people breaking into here for a unicorn horn.
It's only the horn. It's only the horn, but it actually is still alive.
Oh.
We use it as a marlin spike sometimes.
Oh.
It works really well.
Yeah. Well, that's a reason to hire you guys right away. I mean, it puts the luck right into the rigging.
We have a magic unicorn marlin spike. I'm going to make one.
Yeah.
Maybe you could make a T-shirt too.
Absolutely. Do you even rig, bro? What do you use?
The magic unicorn marlin spike. Oh, God. Everybody has them, but lovely serving mallets.
Oh, they are pretty.
That,
I was taking photos of them.
Yeah, these aren't ancient technology, but yeah, they get used. We have an old British.
Do you serve Dyneema rigging, by the way?
Oh yeah, we serve Dyneema rigging.
The whole thing, or?
Yeah, we do. Depends on the boat. Sometimes we'll just serve the splice if it's maybe more of a classic boat that we're rigging with Dyneema.
Yeah. So these are not some kind of outdated. I just wanted to make the point for everybody.
Yeah.
This is not some outdated thing that these serving is.
Those are not there collecting dust. Right. Those get used regularly in here. We recently finished Tally Ho's rig, which was fully served Dyneema, and that's what we use those for. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. A little side on that, Dyneema as a standing rigging, the heat set Dyneema has two vulnerabilities, chafe and UV light. Mm-hmm. But it's very resistant to both of them, and it can be used naked and last almost as long as stainless. But when we serve it, we've erased those two vulnerabilities. It's no longer exposed to sunlight or chafe. So how long is it going to last? Ask somebody's grandchildren. You know, it doesn't fatigue with the cyclical loads like stainless does. It doesn't corrode. Yeah. So we're pretty convinced.
I'm changing my rig.
Yeah. There you go.
It's a 1996 stainless rig that probably needs to.
It's time.
Don't.
It's time. It's probably fine. Yeah. It's probably not going to explode, but I like to not rely on probablys. Yeah. Another one is a lovely old British Navy heaving mallet for clapping on wire seizings. This is not a swinging hammer. I don't know how old this one is, but it's got a lot of miles on it. We've used this on a couple of fife rigs already. If any tool in this shop could talk, I wish it was this one, right? Even though I'm the oldest tool in the shop, and I can talk. That one probably has a lot more to say.
Oh, and tell me about your dear coworker who made this sculpture in the corner.
That sculpture was made by Margie McDonald, a dear friend and rigger who worked for Brian before I ever started working for him. And she doesn't do boat work anymore. She's an artist and a sculptor and internationally known. And we save all of our scraps, our old tape measures, our old rigging wire and what have you, and she macrames them into these masterpieces, and she gifted us with one. That's not all she's known for. People who do rope work with Dyneema, everyone's going to be familiar with the Mobius Brummel. It's how you start that splice, the locking Mobius Brummel. Margie McDonald invented the Mobius Brummel in this room in the early 2000s or late 90s. Yeah. Which is great.
Which is great.
Which is great. Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's kind of cool. Who else do you know who's living who has a knot named after them? Nobody. Yeah.
That's 0 people.
Yeah, yeah. She illustrated the book that Brian wrote called Working Rope, like modern rope splices. Those are her illustrations. Yeah.
What made you get into rigging? Like, were you a sailor first? Were you?
Yeah, I grew up sailing on the Columbia River. My parents had small boats, fiberglass boats, like 25 to 30 foot boats, and we would race out of the Longview Yacht Club. Grew up doing that. And then Dad sold the boat, bought a bayliner, eventually bought another sailboat. And I, at some point, found myself going to the Evergreen State College in Olympia. I hadn't sailed for years and got involved with their sailing program. They had a couple of lovely wooden boats. I enrolled in a summer program, Intro to Marine Biology or something, on one of the boats. And as soon as I stepped foot on the boat, I was like, oh yeah, sailing, I'd forgotten. And it was a wood boat, and that was my introduction to wood boats in my early 20s. And for the rest of my term at Evergreen, I never got off the boat. Changed my focus, and we would go up into Canada often, and we'd always stop here in Point Hudson. And I had discovered Brian's book, The Rigger's Apprentice, prior to that visit, and I couldn't take my nose out of the book. I'd probably already finished it. And I was sitting in the boat on the dock, and somebody poked their head down the hatch and said, "Hey Ian, the guy who wrote that book that you're always reading is walking down the dock." I jumped up out of the hatch and just said, "Hey, can I come to work for you?" And here we are 25 years later. Yeah, that's the nutshell.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
Yeah.
I wrapped up at Evergreen and packed up my truck, found a room in Port Townsend, and yeah, here we are.
Well,
career
you got my
later.
book, kid. You're probably a good guy.
He said something during, it was a very informal interview, and as I was walking out the door, he just said, "Memorize The Apprentice." And I turned around and said, "I already have." Yeah. A little bit of a smart-ass answer, but it was true.
Yeah, there are itinerant riggers, but
Yeah.
who travel to the boats.
Sure.
But in a way, since the boats come here, that's pretty lucky.
It's pretty lucky. We've finally gotten from the port. We have priority moorage for 160 feet of linear dock out here, so boats are literally right on our front yard, our front dock. I used to dream about having a shop that was on the water with a couple of big barn doors like we have in the back, and boats could come to us. I mean, it's ideal. And most of the trades in town have that, whether they're in this marina or the other one. The yard is very close to the dock, and everybody's got their priority moorage. But yeah, we work with a lot of locals. We love taking care of our local fleet, and a lot of people come from far away to come see us. Yeah, and part of that, there's a bigger thing at work there. It's not just us. I mean, I like to think we do a good job, but people also come to Port Townsend because it's one-stop shop for boat work. There aren't too many places that within a 5-mile radius you can have anything you need done on any type of boat, more or less. So somebody comes here and hauls out, they can have their bottom work done, they can have their engine work done, they can have their sails made or maintained, they can have their rig taken care of. So we exist as an appendage of an organism, is the way I see it.
Yeah.
The community holds itself together.
How do you recommend people if they wanted to get into rigging? Do you find that rigging shops in general are open places that would accept, apprentices, or, if boat building isn't your thing? What's beautiful about rigging? What do you enjoy about it? And how not everyone can holler at Brian Toss and ask him for a job.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
And he was a teacher, and he knew that if this craft is going to continue, you have to share it with the new generation. And that was the foundation of his ethic, honestly, writing the book. And he took on a lot of apprentices. How does someone get into it? I don't really know how to answer that one. You just do what I did and ask for the job. The same thing that Dylan over here sitting at the desk did. He came to me numerous times wanting a job. And I said, "I'd love to, but we're not hiring right now." And he said, "Okay." And he'd come back a couple months later, like, "How's it going? You got a job?" I said, "No, sorry, not right now." Here he is. He's been employed for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And he's been fantastic. The boat school here in town exposes people to a lot of the different trades, And then here also, you can just try it on for size. You can go work for a shipwright. You can go work for an electrician. You can go work for someone doing different systems, or a sailmaker or a rigger. And if it's not your fit, you're still going to be exposed to all the other trades.
Yeah.
We, and I think most people, are willing to hire people that don't yet have the skills, and we're willing to invest in them, to train them. Attitude and compatibility is probably the most important thing. After that, at least for us, a basic understanding of some mechanical skills or a willingness to learn them. Familiarity with boats is a bonus. We love training people. because they help round us out as well, you know. And you start to learn what you know and what the limits of your knowledge are when you teach people, right? Yeah, yeah.
If someone comes to Port Townsend, what should they know about this place? Like, what's your favorite thing about Port Townsend?
Ooh, how do I answer that question? What brought me to this town? When I discovered it in the late 90s, I don't know if I can pinpoint what it was. There was certainly something romantic about it for me at the time. Seaport town, sailboats, artists. You know, it was a community of independently minded, free-thinking people for the most part. And still is. It's changed like all places do. I wanted to be in a place by the sea and by the mountains. And we have the sea out this door and the mountains out that door. It's pretty lovely. Pretty mild seasons both ways. Just walking around the boatyard. It's an open boatyard and there aren't many of those left anymore. The gates aren't locked. And it's an industrial zone, so be careful. But there are some incredibly talented people in the yard just that exist in these humble little shops. And when you poke in and see what they're doing, I'm just mystified and mind blown every day by the woodwork, the metalwork, the rigging work, the sail makers, all of these artisans pulling together to make the whole trade work, you know. And a while back, an economic impact study was done on the marine trades here in town, and it came to our awareness that we are 20% of the local economy, which is significant. And that has led to a whole bunch of other like government grants and permissions and a real advancement of the securities of the trade in this town. So,
Which speaks to the hill that I will die on.
yeah.
Which is that the narrative of wooden boats or the trades
Yeah.
being anachronistic or going away
Right.
is not true.
Yeah.
And it may not be the conventional thing to own a wooden boat. It may not be the conventional thing
Yeah.
to get into these trades, you know, as opposed to become a plumber and electrician.
Sure.
But it sounds to me like what is here is thriving.
What is here is absolutely thriving. Just about for everybody involved, no matter what they're doing on a boat. Yes, it is thriving, it's not dying. We have some obstacles to that growth. Everybody does. One for us is housing. There's not a lot of geographical space in Port Townsend for housing, and there's a severe economic disparity in this community. People are being priced out. It's not just a Port Townsend problem, it's happening everywhere, right? And that's a tricky one to solve, but we're trying. There are companies in town that want to hire more people. They have the work, but there's no place to house people. So it's a bit of a trick. But yeah, the trades here are thriving, not dying. Boats don't come here to die. Boats come here to live. Yeah, I'll show you the back room here.
Yes, please.
It's not quite photogenic like that, but it's just a different story, and it tells a different story. This is where we're able to come in and work in the wintertime. You know, we only got this part of this building about 5 years ago. Hey, Leah. And we can bring about a 70-foot spar in here. And on any given day, we might have 1 or 2 or 6 or 7 in here being worked on. And we share the building with other trades. Leah and Best Coast Canvas right here, the Artful Sailor. Port Townsend Sales used to be upstairs, but they're now at the other end of town. But this floor, what used to be one whole big room, was the Point Hudson Boat Shop. And this tells the origin story of the Port Townsend wooden boat scene. You could say that it all began in this building right here. And like you said, if each one of these paint splatters could talk, the boats they could tell you about would be pretty astonishing. Like this room used to be full of lovely large boats being worked on. But we're happy we can all be in here now, and it's existing in a different capacity, but it's still marine trades. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh. This should be uncovered and in the show, really. This, I can't take the shroud off it right now, but this is obviously a scaled down, but fully working model of Adventurous's rig and sail plan. It was built for the Coast Guard rig inspectors course that we teach here 2 times a year. And we can get up there and show them how a sailboat works. And since it's fully functioning, you know, we can harden up a running back and see how it affects the jib top stay and like the flow of forces through the rig. It's fully functioning model. Pretty cool.
This is what I'm talking about, Ian. This is what I meant. Like, look at it back here. Just with its, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, the sails are reefable. Emiliano built those a couple of years ago.
Nettles.
Yeah, right?
Just little guys.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we should bring that up front for next year's festival so people can see that.
Oh my goodness.
But we can't put it on the bench because it's too damn tall.
The rig is too damn tall.
The rig is too damn tall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, rig inspection courses. That's cool.
Yeah, well, we teach the Coast Guard inspectors how to inspect COI'd vessels, basically T-boats, passenger carrying vessels.
Yeah.
We have to distill our career's worth of knowledge down into 5 days and give them the skills to get on a boat, inspect it, and pass or fail the boat. It's a trick, and there's no way you can give them that much information in 5 days. You know, 25 years later, I'm barely confident doing that. But we give them our phone numbers, we give them the phone numbers of other tradespeople and introduce them to the tradespeople around town so that when they get on board a boat and they don't know something, they've got somebody to call and ask the questions to. So again, building community.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have I say we, but it's not we, it's John Kuhn who leads up this class, but he's brought us in to help co-teach.
Yeah.
And there's a 5-year federal government contract to keep these classes running. And yeah, the sectors from the East Coast, the Midwest, the Gulf Coast, Hawaii, California, all the West Coast, they all come here to Port Townsend for that week and have this very intensive training. Yeah. And some of them, a lot of them are doing the multi-hull fleet in the Caribbean and Hawaii and California, and then the windjammers in Maine, all of it. And this class was born out of a few fatalities on COI'd boats. And then the Coast Guard was like, whoa, something has to change now. And John literally wrote the NAVIC, the guideline for this course. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I love about everybody wants to complain maybe about regulation, but every rule that we have, there's somebody who had to bury a family member.
Yeah. Every code, every line of every code is written in blood. You hate to, move forward by driving, looking in the rearview mirror. But unfortunately, that's how some things work. But
especially to say that we're not going to allow that to happen again.
Yeah.
That's not looking back. That's looking way forward.
Yeah. Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Not to correct you.
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely right. Edit that one as you wish. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good stuff. Have you checked out the Norwegian ladies making rope?
I have,
Yeah.
and I did not know Hardanger was going to be here.
Yeah.
It is just, if I were to, when I go to put your name on the screen, what should I put your position here as?
What did I call it? Chief Overthinker?
Great. Co-owner.
You could put co-owner, you could put lead rigger. I wouldn't put lead rigger. I hold the theory that John does on that one that I think I already said. The only person who can call somebody a master rigger are that person's apprentices as they're shoveling dirt on his grave. Okay. It's a little morbid, but it's like, yeah. Expert and master, I don't know that I love those terms. I'm not either, and don't ever assume myself to be at all.
That's a hard one. Yeah.
It's a hard one, yeah. At some point we have to accept that it's true.
I think that's the thing is sort of like when you hear master rigger and you go, oh no, like where someone else had to write a description for your place on a panel during a talk or something like, what do you put? And it's not tooting a horn. It's
Sure.
more like just saying what.
I would just put.
Why would I listen to this guy?
Yeah. I would just put rigor.
Yeah.
But yeah, co-owner rigor
Yeah.
on this one.
It's probably gonna be rigor, comma, overthinker.
Yeah. Perfect. Quoting, thinking about something that Jerry Garcia once said when he was kind of asked a similar question. He just said, I don't want a legacy. When I die, I just want to be known that I was proficient. Or he just said he wanted to be proficient.
You're right.
That's what it is. And that's what I want to do. I just want to be proficient. I want to be good at what I do. And that means I'm constantly learning, which means I'm also constantly making mistakes, but learning from them as well. And just stepping a little bit outside of our comfort zone a little bit each day, you know?